Hey guys, welcome back to Tough Love with Dr. John O'Connor. Today's guest is a repeat offender, Drew Mournet. Drew is absolutely one of my favorite humans. I've known him for a very long time, and we brought him to bring him back after his celebrity bout in Atlantic City, which was an absolute success, and talk about that. And then basically looking at 2023 and how everything that's gone by for him, his successes, his failures, what he's learned, and what he's planning on for 2024. Drew, welcome back.
Dr. John O'Connor. Glad to be back, man. How are you doing?
So Drew, you know what? We got to see some of the clips from the fight. It was super exciting, the entertainment, episode you did. It was a 3-round fight down in Atlantic City. Let's talk about the fight. Tell me what went through your mind. Tell me about the fight a little bit, how it went, and let's go from there.
The event out in AC was a success in my mind. It was great to be the main event of something, put forth my talents of being an entertainer, putting on a show, making everyone excited for a bout. As far as the event went, the event was awesome. There was a lot of people showed up, good big turnout. A lot of performers came. A lot of lower end boxers came out and showcased their talents. I put on a clinic, a really spectacular show as the main event. I did some wild stunts during the show. As an entertainer, it's like one of those things where like you look back, you could have changed some things, but
sure.
That's what makes it entertaining. Just like living in the moment. I happened to fight someone this time a lot bigger than me. I had my first loss in entertainment, which is entertainment. It does hurt to lose anything in life, but you grow from everything, fighting a guy bigger than me, stronger than me, just wanted to showcase that I'm about putting forth my
best effort.
And I'd had a great time. I knocked him down. I choked him out for no reason. I put on a show.
Hold on a second. Tell me about that, because it's funny. You know that you get me caught up with MMA and the wrestling and everything you're doing. So I know we had texted back and forth, and I treat you like family. So of course I checked you out the next morning. I was chiming in on how it went and whatnot. So how'd that happen? So this guy was a monster, right? You were giving up like 30 pounds, a bunch of inches, and how'd that go? And how'd the officials kind of handle that in this celebrity situation?
I almost got disqualified, actually.
Okay.
It's an entertainment bout, yes. But that doesn't mean you can just do whatever you want.
Got it.
Even though I felt like it's my show, because a lot of people there go support me, and I've been there and work with the company multiple times. But it's one of those things where I just showed up, and during the first round, I was really feeling myself, where I just stuck my head in between his chest and just hitting him with body shots and head hooks, making sure he couldn't get close to me with his reach. And he ended up grabbing me and just trying to spin me to the ground. I ended up on top, and for no reason hammer fisting him. He was talking a bunch of shit, which is normal. It's entertainment, but fighting wise, people get really emotional in their feels, and it's turned into like a street brawl, to be honest.
Yeah.
And it was just one of those things where he ran in on me, and I hit him a couple head hooks and dropped him. And I'm so used to fighting MMA, where I just initially took his back.
He just went right to Mortal Kombat mode.
Yeah, I took his back, rolled him over, started choking him out. And I'm laying up looking at the lights at Showboat, and I'm like asking myself, like, what am I doing? Like, why? And the ref's screaming at me. He's like, let him go. And I'm like, the bell rings finally, and I'm like, all right, I'll let him go now. Like, and then I'm like, stand up. The guy hates my guts.
It was a little surreal at this point, right?
Yeah,
and you're choking him out.
The whole
he was
place
about to tap out, right?
The whole place was shook. Like,
yeah.
I'm like, all right, well, hopefully I don't get disqualified. I had everyone come out. There's hundreds of people there, and I'm thinking in my head, like, damn, I got disqualified after a minute and a half of fighting. Like, this is going to be terrible. Like, those people are pissed. So like, I begged to let it go, and they let it go because it's entertainment. And during the third, we were going back and forth. He was swinging for the fences, and he clipped me really nice.
Nice.
And I gave him his props. I gave him respect, showcased sportsmanship. But it's one of those things, you dare to be great, and sometimes you fall short, and you just keep going.
100%.
Everything's a win. I headlined my first event at a Showboat. I showed up. I put on the show of the year in celebrity boxing, and just want to just keep growing at what I'm good at.
You want to do it again?
Yeah, I just want to keep growing at what I'm good at. Just put on shows.
Love it. And the neat thing is, obviously we got to be a little bit more selective. I think, me being the basketball guy, I'm going to pick the guys that are more like the 5'10" to 5'11" range for you next time, and not the 6'4", 6'5" guy hitting you from the other side of the ring. But what's next with that? Like, how does that go? I know you said you want to keep scaling and growing, and I love, it's funny. I tell my son, and I tell all my athletes, and I tell even in patient care, we say this all the time, and obviously we're preaching it on the Tough Love podcast. You either win or you learn.
Yeah.
Even though you lost, yes, on the scorecard or knockout, TKO or points, whatever it is. But I love that I didn't have to prompt you on that I didn't say that. You were just like, yeah, man, it was great.
Everything's a win in life. If you're out there, you're out in the showboat, you're putting on a show, you're getting views, you're getting people to know who you are. You got to look at it as a win in general, even if it's something that's not just entertainment, it goes on a professional record. Let's just say hypothetically, it's one of those things. You have an event out, and I was just at Washington D.C. last month. My roommate fought out there, Phil Caracappa, and he won. But to be out at PFL at a new organization and seeing a new city and just seeing and adding a chapter to your life of a new event, it's just so cool to just grow upon that and just. It's just a win. No matter what, however you look at it, you did something cool today.
So now with your nutrition brand, Apex, right?
Yeah.
I see that you're starting to do a lot of sponsorships, and I know you love creating gear with your offset canvas business and your new t-shirts and everything you do, loving that hustle. So I'm seeing these boxers, and I don't know the designation fighters, so let's just say, coming up. So was he wearing your gear?
Yeah. They all part of like a brand called Fight Club. I grown through Apex.
Okay.
It's a sponsorship program where I have a ton of local businesses that pay them to sponsor on back of their t-shirts, and I make hundreds of t-shirts. Each fighter makes between 50 and 120, 150 shirts for their event.
Sure.
And I've probably did about 50 to 100 events at this point where it's just my brand just grows. No one else, it's such an untapped field of like people want fight shirts for all their people to come out to the fight and wear, and there's no company that does it. So my company is the one.
He's taking it on. Smart. I love the innovation. So looking back at 2023, we only have 2 weeks left. And, my boy E.T., I love Eric Thomas. And I was reading one thing popped up today and I shared it on my story is let it sink in. There's only 2 weeks left in 2023. And, obviously reconnecting these last couple of years, I am, it's kind of surreal to me to see what you're doing now as a man and how proud I am of you, like taking care of your family, everything you do. But looking back, how was 2023 for you? What'd you learn? What would you have done different? And then, what's coming up ahead? So
let's start with
what you learned first.
Thank you for that, one. And two, it's very surreal to see how much you've done with your business velocity. You've grown so much. You have so many different locations at this point. But I've learned so many different things over the last year. One thing that I really, really enjoy, I traveled a lot this year. I lived in Georgia for 3 months, as you know. I traveled to Greece. I traveled to ton of different places, Florida, Vegas, here, there. The list goes on. But every time I go somewhere, it opens my eyes. I see different things, how people live, what people buy, what they do for fun, events. And it makes me just open my eyes to new avenues of streams of making money and streams of different products. And like, if it's offset canvas, maybe new art people might be into or new hustles through the business itself.
Sure. And
it just traveling this year has really opened my eyes, and people think of it as like, oh, well, I don't want to pay to go here, or it's a financial burden. But sometimes that trip of just getting out of your element can open your eyes to new different things that you haven't seen, and connections too.
So I love that was one thing you said, that even though it was your first celebrity boxing loss, but it opened up a lot of opportunities. Right.
Oh, a ton, man.
I saw, it was funny because looking at the algorithm, like whatever happened from AC, you're hitting my Instagram page like it's a Twitch, like that fast, like, so it's jumping. So some really good stuff happened. Was there anybody or anything in particular that you were just blown away that they reached out? Or just volume, the
volume, the amount of people I just started like condoning me on like having the want to do things like this and not the fear, you know what I'm saying? And showing up and putting on a show, and new organizations hitting me up that they want me be part of theirs, and seeing just my name pop up more on people's thought process is cool. Just thinking of me.
I like that.
That makes me very happy.
Yeah, absolutely. Listen, it's satisfying. Probably one of the biggest things that I can share with that was when you met me, I was known throughout the county, right? I was like Doc O'Connor, this basketball trainer. And, obviously as a chiropractor, I was doing well, but when it comes to people's kids and what they envision, they expect every little Johnny and every little, little Kelly to go to the WNBA, the NBA. And, the energy from that was crazy, so that's probably, obviously other than playing, college ball and pro-am stuff and in summer semi-pro leagues, but that was so long ago, I have such huge respect for the fact that you enjoy that and being an entertainer. and we were talking off set before, and that was a neat thing that you thoroughly enjoy putting on a show and making people happy.
That's probably the biggest reward of the whole thing. Like
Awesome.
seeing people enjoy their time and being able to do something that you like to do, whether it is wrestling, boxing, or it's probably the same enjoyment you have of seeing you help people at your job, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think the big thing that when people come to us, you know, we have like multiple types of patients. There's a patient that's like in the know and they're very knowledgeable to the science we have. Then there's people that are just clueless and lost. And they're so hurt. They get to us like we're the Alamo, or like the last stand, the last hope. And then of course, just our loyal following, right? 20 years later, and then just patients that call you saying, "Hey doc, where you at today? I'm broken. I know you can fix me," you know? One of the big things that I wanted to talk to you with, I know with Apex Nutrition, I think you have a new product coming out, but I think when, you know, we're talking to the audience, you know, and letting them know, let's talk about physical challenges and emotional resets. And I know last time when I had you on the show and you were in fight training mode, I was kind of intrigued because you were just like old school. Like, you know, you don't do cold, you're not the cold plunge guy, you like heat and you nap, but you had brought something up with regard to emotional resets and walking, and I'm going to leave it there for you and kind of share with the audience on how you reset. And, you know, it's big out there in the community, but let's talk about it.
Yeah, I think what you're referring to, Dr. John O'Connor, is like a psychedelic reset.
Okay. And
that's something that I've just picked up over the last couple of years. Maybe every couple of months I'll do it. And it's just one night, whenever I just want to reset my mind and what's important to me. And I'll take psychedelics like mushrooms in a large quantity to just really break through on what I want, be appreciative of what I have, and then make me not fear what the future can bring if I put in the effort and the time to what I believe in. And a lot of people don't understand it because I don't think they've had a firsthand experience, but it's not for everybody. And it's something that I picked up over the years where I was like, wow, this actually helps me, because sometimes I have so much going on, my brain's cluttered, and I'm thinking like, I got this part of my business that's doing well and this part that's failing, and then this part of my business that needs help, and then I have to do everyday activities, and you get very overwhelmed, and sometimes you forget the end goal and what is important and what you want to put your time into.
And you feel like that helps.
It's been so much of a help, especially giving back to people that deserve it.
Sure.
And it makes me recognize and keep it real with them.
Understood. I love that. You know, it's funny. I look at, you know, in 2023 for me, it was a big soul searching year, right? I did a ton of different things, a lot of crazy things, a lot of things that are going to be with me for a long time that I have to live with. And, you know, when we talk about emotional reset, for me, it was journaling, right? But I laughed because during COVID, when I got hurt at nighttime, you know, it's like, here you are, and I'm not Doc, I'm not John O'Connor, I'm Dr. O'Connor that knows all these, you know, surgeons, as the physical medicine guy, as the chiropractor. And when I got hurt, there was every narcotic, drug, sleeping aid, this and that, nothing was working. And I chuckled because one of my friends, it's like, you know, everybody's got the one friend with the tattoo wear, the big beard, the shaggy hair, and you know, he's like, dude, I know you're straight laced. You're going to eat a gummy and you're going to be good. Right. And I'm looking at him, I'm looking at him like, and I'm desperate. I'm not sleeping. I'm uncomfortable and in pain. I'm waking up every 5 minutes. And, you know, he handed over a gummy, and I was like, and I hear people talking about it, you know, whether they're going through, some people just like them, but, you know, people can't sleep, you know, they're going from 40 to 50, whatever it is, and aches and pains. So I said, all right, I'm going for it. It was the first time I slept for like 5 or 6 hours. I woke up and I was like, oh, this is great.
Those things will knock you out. And then you wake up the next day, you're like, you want to even sleep more.
Yeah, well, that was it. And, you know, when you don't sleep, I don't care whatever the reset is, you know, that's gold. You know, so for me, I don't go against anybody that has, you know, condone, you know, I don't judge anyone that they're going to do stuff if they have like a purpose and a reason, like, you know, what's the why, what's the end game. And, you know, so for me, like if I'm stressed or something like that, like I'll take one, you know, before bed and I laugh and I'm like,
so you're still doing it.
Oh yeah. If I have to,
I love it.
Yeah. Like if I was, you know, I chuckle because I tell people all the time, people ask me like, you know, Doc, you know, how do you get to sleep? And I'm like, the greatest fear for me being a person that was like, put your head on the pillow and be out cold is not sleeping, because much like you, I have a ridiculously busy brain, right?
It just never ends.
It doesn't. And if I don't slow it down and it turns on, and it really, I realized how bad it was when I was in the nightclub business, when I was, in my 20s, and I would get home and just like you said, going over like, this is going well, this is going well. If I had a great night and I had 3 events going and one did like 15,000 and one was supposed to do like 20, and then all of a sudden a fight broke out or something goes and I lost 10 grand or whatever, I would get home and then you don't know any better. And you're just sitting there staring at the ceiling all night.
Recalculating what went wrong.
Just going through everything.
Much you really
and you
lost.
couldn't control it, And now at 49, about to be 50 years old, I laugh because that wisdom comes that I'm giving friends. I have a friend right now that I'm thinking about that I'm giving advice to right now for like the last 4 to 6 weeks. He's waking up with these horrible, vivid dreams at night. And I said, I've been there, and I have spent so much time deep diving in my inner yoga, my inner Yoda mode of saying, I get up, I do my breath work, I'll take a cold shower, get outside, get some cold air on me, come back in and just calm myself down and knock out. And so many times when you see people like that, I'm sure you've been there in those situations, you're like, hey, how do you get out of that? Because, it's funny, like we utilize PEMF for that. And I got to put you on that. You're going to love it. If I'm having a really bad stretch with that and I can't sleep, I'll come downstairs and jump on the PEMF unit and I'm out cold.
Yeah.
And I always laugh because, people will say, oh, no. And we put them on it. Drew, when I tell you it's the funniest thing ever, if we put that on somebody's chest and, I'm looking at Matt right now, I don't know if you can hear me, but I don't know how many like anxiety ridden, depressed, sleep deprivation, whatever it is, they walk in and that's even better than the gummy, and I chuckle, I'm like, but no one has $40,000 to go bring that home as a sleep aid, and, but it was an amazing thing. So again, I love that. I love the honesty in that. I think it's fantastic. I'm a big Joe Rogan guy and, I follow all these different guys that do all this kind of stuff and Ben Greenfield. And I'm always hearing about the different supplementation people use. So I look at it as supplements. It's like if you're not using it recreationally and bouncing around, walking in the walls and just
God
stuff.
made it,
Yeah, that's it. So tell me this. I love the fact that in the entertainment realm, you've done the boxing, you've done the MMA, right? And now we got wrestling. Do we have anything going on with that right now? Because I know you did the 3 months in Georgia, are you actively training for that? Are you working towards getting an event?
I've been training off and on for wrestling since then. It's one of those things where I do look for opportunity.
Okay.
But I'm just not taking any opportunity. I don't want to hurt my brand or take the wrong opportunity or how you say, take an opportunity that isn't perfect for me.
Okay.
I look for a good fit. And there's been things that are on my mind that I've reached out to and I've been in contact with. But I got so much on my plate where I'm ready to dive into it. And I think I'm ready to do it soon. Okay. Where I'll put on more shows and matches. But I want to make sure it's one of the events that I really like and that want to pay me well off and want to make me their star and not just some backup like one of 20. You want to be the one. That's not important to me. Just to get some drive far, do some matches just for the fun of it. It's not important to me. But I think the time will come and there's a plan behind every mission. And if you had to pick the sport, Drew, what would that be? Would that be the MMA? Would that be the boxing? You don't know about the wrestling yet because you haven't done it yet, correct? Well, the wrestling I've done matches. Yeah. That's really my heart is. It's the funnest. It's the most entertainment. It's the most where you can interact with the fans. You can bring people out of the ring. You can talk to the fans. You can make some little kid feel like you're their superhero. Where the boxing is, it's very, very straightforward. You're trying to hurt each other. And I enjoy it to a degree because I have very good reaction timing and I'm pretty talented with the way I move. It's like dancing to me, but it's just not something that I'm a lover, man. I don't really want to hurt people, but I look at it as a challenge. It's a challenge. Yeah. I like touching their glove before and knowing they're okay with me trying to beat them up. Yeah, absolutely. It makes it much more relaxing. I've had so many bad experiences when I was younger with street fights where it's just my goal isn't to hurt people anymore, man. And it's just not to get into altercations where you could get potentially hurt too. Got it. So let's go about that. I know your father passed away at an early age and we always talk about that, and I was around you as you were a kid growing up. What do you think all this activity now that you're pursuing all these things is because you didn't do a lot of sports as a young kid? 100%. Got it. I feel like when people start young, they get burnt out and they don't want to continue it. Mm-hmm. And then when you start a little older, even if it's in your high school. And you get hurt. No injuries when you were a kid. Or that. Yeah. No wear and tear. Then you want to do it more because you never had the experience of doing it.
Never experienced that, like what that feels to go on a run or being in the zone, so to speak.
Yeah. At that age, when I was younger, I was just into just random other things. It just like never was like, I started bodybuilding when I was like 21 or 20, but like that whole field is just another whole topic of like, am I really ever going to go on stage in a thong? Like, probably not. So it's just like, but I condone them.
We run across the backyard. We'll leave it there.
Yeah. Like I condone them for the diet they put in and the exercise time and the cardio and the prep. But it's just one of those things where I just never saw myself. I don't physically enjoy sitting in front of a plate of food of grilled chicken and white rice and just scarfing it down 6 times a day to make sure I meet my calories and protein. It just was never fun for me. I'd rather have an endless boxing match with a human being on an open mat until we can't breathe. That's just more entertaining to me.
You know, it's funny that you said that with the meals. I was telling Matt today, you know, I think a lot of people, and we keep trying to tie this in, as we're building our coaching brand about all the healing sciences that we use and we post the exercise videos, it's not about my fit level. It's about the durability of my body and how I'm keeping myself healthy with the products. I was asking earlier about your Apex pre-workout and stuff. And like right now I'm trying to gain weight. And when you get to the body fat level that I'm at, you know, now I have to eat. Yeah. And it's probably the hardest thing ever when, you know, it's like I'm used to having breakfast, you know, and have a little tiny bit, you know, a little steak and eggs, a little this or that. Now I'm literally just pounding food and I'm up so early that Matt was laughing. At 10 a.m. today, I had already had Eat Clean Bro 3 times.
Love that guy.
And, you know, I just was posting on his page.
Shout out Jamie, Eat Clean Bro.
And, you know, and I was chuckling at 10 o'clock. I was on my 3rd dish. I had 2 basic burger things and then the salmon at 10:30. And that was like, Doc, when you go to work? And we were chuckling because we get up so early. I go, dude, I'm famished and it's 10:30. I'm going to be starving. I have to go to bed early tonight because I've been eating all day, you know.
It's like a job.
It's a job.
And once you get to where you're at physically with your body, you got to just keep going because your body's used to that much food, 1. And 2, you're at this point when you look great and you could even look crazier. And people have a hard time getting to that point when you have that plateau level. And it does get broken. Like for me, for example, I'm 5'11", 6 foot. You could say 5'11", let's just say. 205 was mine. I was bench pressing a good 315 at 24, 25. Nice. Squatting 400. My knees were killing me.
Everything hurt.
Yeah, everything just hurt at that point. And then I realized, like, you know, with the time I put into eating and lifting 2 times a day to keep up with that, it could be utilized in other things. And that's where I was like, what am I trying to accomplish? At one point, I thought it was for physical health. And then I realized I was kind of going overboard.
Yes.
Where I'm like,
you're falling apart.
Yeah, but like it's for physical health and with some aspect of the cardio, but then when you're trying to gain all this muscle mass, if someone doesn't like you for who you are anyway, you don't need like an extra 20 pounds of muscle. That's how I look at it.
100%. You know, it's funny. That's probably the biggest thing is that right now I'm on a like rebuild me mode. And I try to tell my son and kids around me and people, I don't even want to tell myself, it's like, I've been at this fit level now for about 1.5 years. And I was pushing the lower portion of my body, like you said, with your knees hurting with the squatting. And, you know, 20 years being a professional basketball trainer, I have God knows how many hundreds of thousands of miles. And so when people are pushing me to train legs, I laugh. I go, you have no idea the mileage these legs have on them. And, you know, they're like, they're cycling, they're training this. I go, we would literally, you know, what's up, Doc Tardio? I'm going to share a story. Him and I, in my lead chiropractor at the Red Bank facility, we would literally go, and I don't even know, I think he brought it in. It was called Jim Jones back in the day. It was like the first CrossFit. And these dudes were legit like Navy SEALs meet fitness freaks. And they would do like, well, this is a workout we were doing. We were doing 315 step-ups, box step-ups.
Jeez.
We were doing 315 squat.
That's 315 on your back?
On your back.
Okay.
Yeah. And then we were doing a 315 deadlift in a row. Come right off onto a 40-inch box, vertical jump. And people were watching us go because we literally take all the cages, right? And they're like, what are you guys training for?
You're trying to build strength in your hamstrings.
No, they were not even so much that. No, it was just so hard.
Yeah.
And we loved it. We were like looking at them like, Jim Jones, life, I don't know. And then the funny thing about it is now I look at it and I have to be very selective. You talked about that's 15 years ago. So every once in a while I'll get a wild hair and say, all right, I'm going to work out with you. We're going to get a workout and get it on, we're going to definitely get it on, Instagram or TikTok or whatever.
We need to do like an Ironman workout or something crazy. I'm thinking.
Yeah, we just got to smash it. But the funny thing about it is I'm good for about 90 minutes. Right.
Yeah.
And what I realized, I was looking at those workouts. We would lift for 90 minutes and then go on the basketball court with kids that were 16 to 22. And, so it'd be there. You got to angle the mic directly at you. There you go. So anyway, with regards to, there you go. So let's talk about this. I absolutely love the fact you started a product line, and I have tried to do that a couple times now we're achieving it. But with regards to Apex, what's your dream goal for Apex Sport and like the supplement line? Do you want to be your own store? Do you want to be sold in major retail stores? Do you just want to be on Amazon? What's the
goal?
What's the goal? Yeah.
Like the goal would probably be to change people's lives with a fat burner.
Okay.
Major retailers is cool. I think that's probably the route.
Someone picks it up from you.
Yeah. Just the product's been around for a while now, about six years. The fat burner sliced. Mm-hmm. Just making it a household name. When you think fat burner, I want you to think sliced.
Yeah.
And then once that hits, and then maybe a major retailer does pick it up. But until then, I have no problem staying exclusive because you get 100% of the profit margins and people have to come to you for your product.
Understood.
So I have some retailers I do deal with, but more so or less, I'm waiting for an exclusivity deal. That would be nice.
Got it.
What
does that mean? What
exclusivity deal, like where it's only sold with you and someone else, like an Amazon or a Walmart or a CVS.
Understood.
So that way, the people that want it have to go there, so you can charge more money.
Understood.
Or just things in life that are exclusive, people want more than things they can get anywhere.
Yeah, 100%. And then the problem is there were a couple of products that we would buy all the time when we first started our chiropractic office before we entered rehab and the anti-aging and the peptides and all that kind of stuff. And this one product, exactly what you said, and I can't blame them. They went from just selling to medical supply to having it be sold in either Rite Aid or, one of the major pharmacies. So of course, then the price went down, right? We were buying it. And then it was like, okay, we're out. But for them, they went from selling 100 bottles a year to 100,000, So hold on. So I'm laughing. This is our first time. Hey guys, as we're expanding our technology, every once in a while, you're going to see some kinks and some things come up that are funny in the show. And right now we are having a funny one. How do you make Apex better, like sliced? Is that proprietary blend pretty much locked in, or is it just more flavors and stuff like that?
Well, that's a fat burner. The proprietary blend is locked in. It's a thermogenic pill. Mm-hmm. There's multiple. You could take a day, for example, but that formula has been tested and proven to be very effective.
On autopilot.
Yeah, very effective.
And it's funny, bringing it back through the years, and this is probably before your fitness time. There was like Rip Fuel. There was. Do you remember that? Do you know?
Yeah, of course.
There was Rip Fuel, and there were a couple others.
Hydroxycut,
yeah. And I don't even know if they're around anymore. And are you trying to be that next generation of that, if you will?
That's the goal, basically.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like it's just one of those things that will never go anywhere.
Got it.
Everyone wants to lose fat.
All right. So I'm gonna spin it to you this way. What I'm gonna do is on my gear. Obviously, I'm always I love my fitness swag. So I'm definitely gonna have to grab some stuff and make sure we're putting those fitness videos out there. I'm gonna have to rock your stuff and help you build out that dream. So
I'm down.
So you know what? We're coming close to the end of the podcast today. I get one last question for you. Okay. New Year's resolutions. What's your big vision for 2024? You have to share it all out, because I'm sure you want to kind of pitch.
I want to hear yours too, by the way. But man, I've had such a crazy 2023 that 2024 will only open new doors. Spend more time with family. I spent a lot of time away this year, and just growing what I have in any aspect, whether it's the supplement company, the canvas company, my entertainment career, but more so or less just becoming a better athlete all around, well-rounded.
Okay.
And the big thing is promos and talking. I've been working on a lot this year, more than ever. I feel like that's a big step in entertainment that people don't have. You either have it or you don't. It's one of those things I've over the years gotten better at, but I really want to bring a personality to me that's just very different than others.
I like it. So for me, it's funny. 2023 was a year, an awakening, if you will. And I have offered so many people advice that sometimes you are so busy, you don't take time to look in the mirror and see what you're doing. And I would say some of the words that I want to live by and put into process is like being more at peace with the decisions I make. And then also, 2024 for me is about looking at all the business that I have and the new business that I'm going into, and being even more focused on the ones that I love, letting go of the ones that don't serve me, and putting the right people, family, friends, loved ones, etc., in positions to be successful. And I think probably, and I'm sure you've seen this in business, I loved in the last episode when you were saying that you try to let the business synergistically work and you definitely let one build off the other one, etc. For me, the one thing I'm not going to do in 2024 is I'm no longer pushing people. If you want it, then you're going to come get it, right? I'll give you every means necessary. I'll push you. I am a driving force. I am motivated. But I think the biggest thing that I learned in 2023 is if you want something bad enough, like the famous saying, if you want it as bad as you want to breathe, right? Then you're going to get it done. And I've had a lot of discovery this year, a lot of failure, more than I've had, and learning from it, a huge amount of failure this year, more than I'd like to discuss or talk about. And the one takeaway is it's because I probably didn't do enough self-reflection to say, hey, what is it you want? I've been so busy trying to make other people happy and, just check the boxes, that I think that's the biggest thing that I would tell the audience. I would tell people like, hey, this year, think about what you want, the next year, the next 5 years, 10 years. I used to think at 40, you have so much time left, but it's funny. It's like, that's already 40 summers, of being in the best shape of your life or this or that. And now as I'm approaching my 50th summer, I'm thinking to myself, oh my God, wow, it's like really here. And one of my very first podcasts, really hit me hard when I had a great guest, Rob Gill, shout out. He said something to me that really hit home. That was, have you accomplished your goals? What were your milestones? Did you hit those milestones at 40, 45, 50? And I realized that one thing that's really been sitting on me is like, I'm going to put my head down hard for the next 6 months. And I'm going to literally take like that military special forces, Navy SEAL mindset, get some David Goggins shit going on, and just keep my head down and just drive and eliminate the bullshit, if you will, and just keep pushing the envelope, keep moving forward. And I believe that if I do that, that I'll set myself up for mental, spiritual, financial happiness beyond. Because I think the one thing that I did experience and touch on this year was, being at peace with things. And I think, and I had a friend a long time ago that had wrote a book about hunting his first African safari, and I had to get him ready for it. And in one of his closing chapters, he said that one of his greatest accomplishments in life was getting life to simple and finding peace. And I think among the chaos with kids and relationships and, marriages and all the stuff and business and employees and staff and are you a good at, and just fill the box. Are you good at this? Are you good at that? Are you a good person? Do you practice gratitude? I want to make sure that closing out, 2023 and going to 2024, that I say, I check those boxes in a different way. That the amount of energy that I put into that growth is something that people say, man, he's changed, and wow, like just amazing. I thought he was energetic before, but his focus towards things is just so powerful that I want to be on that train. Whatever he's on, let's go that way, full speed ahead. So I love the energy that you bring to the table, Drew. I think that every time I get you on here, there's a new part of you that I'm learning about that's just inspirational and motivational. We had a lot of stuff to talk about offset. But guys, thank you so much for joining us today for the podcast. Drew Mournet, you can find him on Instagram. We'll be sharing all of his companies on the platform today. Absolutely amazing young man. Look forward to all the stuff he has to come and being on the show again soon.